we call medically a line infection. He had been on long-term antibiotics at the subacute rehab and suddenly became ill one day with unstable vitals, very high fevers, and he had about three of those episodes before his care team said, look, we're going to have to test him for coronavirus. It's rampant throughout the hospital. And unfortunately, he got it.
I am so sorry, doctor. You also lost your cousin to the virus.
Yes,
And your
yes.
sister tested positive.
Yes, yes. Actually, today are the virtual services for my cousin. He suffered what is believed to be a complication of COVID, catastrophic stroke, and blood clots in his lungs. Young man, late 50s, vivacious, full of life, and coronavirus snubbed and stole another life in my family. And my sister, who has just been our champion, a breast cancer survivor, my sister likely got exposed at work and she got sick and has been fighting coronavirus, is what we call a long hauler. And at work had to be on supplemental oxygen, which she just ended about a few weeks ago, but she's yet to return to work.
All of this, your role as a doctor, as a daughter, as a Black woman, all of this I can imagine inform your decision to volunteer for Moderna's vaccine trial.
Yes, COVID had taken so much from me. I had to take something from it. And I needed a way to live forward my father's legacy. My dad was a research scientist. And so I didn't hesitate when this opportunity presented itself. I believe in public health science. And finally, I would also add, I'm very well aware, being a doctor that focuses on health equity, of the health inequities that Blacks and Browns face, in particular around our participation in clinical research. And I knew that if we represented, that inequity would only continue and persist. So those are all of the things that were going on in my emotional and spiritual milieu that definitely solidified this choice for me.
Well, let's talk a little about that. The statistics from vaccine trials show Black people are vastly underrepresented in these trials. We've talked quite a bit about the inherent and often warranted distrust Black people have had with medicine and science because of the Tuskegee experiments and others. But what are some of the reasons you believe in 2020 why Black people are still underrepresented?
You started the conversation where we still have to start. That historical legacy of medical experimentation and exploitation still weighs collectively on the psyche of Black folks and Black communities. And academic medicine and healthcare more generally has not done enough to demonstrate trustworthiness. And when I say has not done enough, we have to start by centering on the history and validating the fears and concerns. And then we have to make sure that we are informing Black and Brown communities of opportunities in socially and culturally fluent ways. And then we have to make sure that Blacks feel seen. And I say that and I pause because we don't only have historical issues, we don't only have access and issues around opportunity, we also have issues around ongoing disparities in healthcare, right? And a part of those ongoing disparities in healthcare is that Blacks don't see themselves reflected in healthcare. And the more we can increase Black frontline physicians and healthcare providers, it messages to the community that I see you, that your input and your lived experiences are necessary for our understanding. So we've got a lot of work to do in healthcare. We've got a lot of work.